Hello, my friends. This is Archangel. Gynocentrism is ultimately the executioner of male worth, which, simply put, means we sacrifice male welfare for female welfare. So, what is the cure? Many a wise male has pursued this very line of thought. And, sorry to say, I don't know that there is a cure in our current incarnation of Homo sapien, where the lion's share of the reproduction lies with one sex over the other, and thus the door is flung wide open for that sex to exploit the other and indeed claim superior species value. Until you can plug your laptop into your forearm and reprogram your instincts and basal drives and genetics the way you can plug in your laptop and remap the fuel system and the timing or transmission shift patterns. Until then, I don't know that cure is possible, but remedy, options, absolutely. We have many avenues of recourse to gynocentrism, and liberation is the avenue that I proffer. Now, if both sexes shared equity of reproductive value, for example, if both sexes contributed an equal procreative ingredient and the ensuing offspring grew independent of either sex, then females could not boast reproductive superiority. If humans were more like fish, where the females laid the eggs and the males fertilized them, after which the offspring developed independent of either parent. In such cases, neither party is expendable, since both male and female are needed and share a 50-50 procreative value. Yet, since humans have such long gestational periods and develop in utero, with said womb consequently residing in the female, hence we are a gynocentric animal from a natural point of view. However, gynocentrism is criminal from a moral point of view. One possible avenue or remedy to gynocentrism is sameness. You see, we need differences in order to invoke prejudice of one over the other. We require at least two polarities so that we might favor one over the other. We must have andro in order that we might judge and favor the gyno. I have found it curious that many ancient philosophies represent us as androgynous in our spirit or energy form. Many reports of extraterrestrials, such as Greys, speak of androgynous beings. Now, both these sources are dubious, and indeed I realize that many will think that I have trespassed into the tinfoil hat area of explanation with the latter example. However, what if androgyny is a viable answer to gynocentrism? Then perhaps it is feasible that indeed enlightened beings or advanced extraterrestrials may very well be androgynous, because sameness eliminates distinction, and distinction enables prejudice. Yet, if we were all the same, there would be no inherent elevation or denigration of beings based upon differences such as anatomy. Now, this may fly in the face of all we hold important, namely that our differences make us unique. Indeed, this is true, but it also condemns males to the import of disposable shovels, Kleenexes for the usage of females. The idea of androgyny is abhorrent to most, yet that is because humans are ego-driven creatures, and the ego relies on differences, distinctions, for its very existence, distinctions which the ego may then utilize to make judgments and extrapolate value based upon preconceived parameters or proclivities of predisposition. Androgyny, the ego would argue, reduces all to unexceptional drones. Yeah, and? Males are already unspectacular worker drones. The idea of androgyny sounds preposterous, so treat this as a thought experiment, just another avenue to consider respite from gynocentrism. Really though, all things boil down, gynocentrism owes its existence to differences between humans in the form of divergent biological anatomy or sex. Androgyny would remove injustice resultant from value prioritization based upon difference. Oh, many will argue that sexual dimorphism amongst a reproductive species is the most effective form of procreation. I have had these conversations with folks already, with genetic diversity being a centerpiece argument opposed to self-replication. Yet it would stand that if reproduction is the most important imperative of nature, then a self-replicating organism would be a more efficient method to ensure replication, rather than dependent on the complex interactions of opposing sexes and the uncertainty of human courtship rituals. I mean, cells reproduce without needing a male and a female cell to go out on dates and get a mortgage together after they make baby cells. In fact, we depend on concise gene replication, not genetic diversity, for a myriad of applications, such as plant life. The reason we have certain trees or plants or fruits and vegetables is because the same genetic recipe is followed over and over again. We don't need genetic diversity every generation of apple tree. Otherwise, we would not have predictable produce, such as corn or potatoes or Kentucky bluegrass to line our properties with and make the neighbors envious. If every time we put seed to ground, we had genetic diversity mixing an unpredictable concoction, we could not depend on a predictable outcome of a product we could reliably utilize to make popcorn or ethanol year after year. Genetic sameness and predictability is very much desired here. If such examples were subjected to genetic diversity conducive to that which people argue is needed in the human animal, then one generation of plant or vegetable would be different from season to season. One season we might get polka-dotted potatoes, and the next we might reap striped corn that tastes like juniper berries. Now, I may be ill-equipped to argue certain facets of biology or evolutionary theory, yet we do have models of self-replication, and it really is not such a stretch. Androgyny would most likely invoke self-replication. And yes, I'm cognizant they are divergent arguments on their face, as plants and sentient mammals are night and day comparison. So let's remove this discussion to the esoteric, the etheric, and hence in the spiritual or eternal sense, it sounds preferential that androgyny is the underlying paradigm, that we as spiritual beings in our truest form are androgynous, whereas polar opposites, sexes, sexual dimorphism is a product of this three-dimensional material realm. Moreover, when you consider this carbon popsicle we call Homo sapien, this vehicle is actually more pliable to androgyny than we may care to admit. We can cosmetically alter one sex to look like the other with the right concoctions of hormones or through purposeful physical alterations such as surgery. We can cause females to resemble males and males to resemble females. We can cause hypertrophy of females' musculature and atrophy of male musculature. We can induce body hair growth in females and cause breast growth in males. We can stimulate facial feature enlargement in females, and on and on and on. Biological sex is becoming a very fluid concept, piggybacked upon our technology. However, gynocentrism depends on polarity, and female entitlements would be stymied in an environment of androgyny, or beings of equal value and appearance. So females absolutely need polarity in order to claim superiority, and they need males to cover up their beauty in order to appear plain and unexciting. The human body is amazingly adaptive in regards to physical aesthetical appearance of either sex. Seriously, the human body is that pliable that one sex can resemble even manifest secondary sexual characteristics of the other. In fact, it is easier to make males resemble a female than vice versa. Some estrogen and a round of cosmetics works amazingly well. You see, the female appearance, the cosmetically made up, artificially augmented, and aesthetically altered appearance of the modern female that society worships and considers status quo normal, this is amazingly easy to replicate on any male. Feminine appearance is not something special. It is not some grand, enigmatic, sugar and spice fairy dust only bestowed upon the X chromosomes. Rather, female's appearance is an easily quantifiable and reproducible effect that we can impose on the grunting inferior shovels that females peddle this modern femininity to in order to evoke utility in response. Androgyny would eliminate bias or preference of any being based upon physical divergence or differences. And females hate this. Females need, in fact rely on, sexual and specifically gender appearance dimorphism in order to solicit attention from the opposite polarity, which is males. Females need males to look plain and boring, no cosmetics. Females want males to be married to a larger, hairier body so that the artificially painted up, augmented appearance of the female will have that much more a stark contrast in juxtaposition to males' deficient curb appeal. Thus, they will have a unique aesthetic look and hence a specialized product to sell to the plain, ugly, boring man-apes. Guys are attracted to colorful, shiny things, right? If both sexes were made to look like Ferraris, then females would lose their monopoly on the accolade of being works of art, and hence they would lose manipulative sway upon males who are just as aesthetically colorful and beautiful. Well, here again, Homo sapiens invoke irony, because quite often in nature, it is the male that is the more beautiful of the sexes. Just take a look at peacocks. Yet, here again, humans defy nature, the very nature that they use to invoke elevated female worth and male disposability. Well, in nature, males are usually the more attractive and beautiful of the species. So put that nature argument in your pipe and smoke it. Thus, it comes as no surprise that females hate it when males can exude and indeed embody the same beauty characteristics that they think they have a monopoly on. This is why many females loathe drag queens or trannies or she-males or trans females, or even straight guys that go off the script and dare to wear cosmetics, such as musicians like the 80s glam rockers or goths or emos, because such male liberty threatens the marble columns on which females perch themselves. But why is that? Well, understandably, females do not want the reminder that their top product, beauty, is not unique nor exclusive only to females. Such male freaks remind females that males can be just as beautiful as females, and hence females do not have anything special. They do not have any corner on the beauty market. Moreover, young females observe older females and see that many, because of out-of-whack hormones, many have come to resemble males. Some have jaws grow or noses become more bulbous, a thinning of hair, and thus the smaller facial features, the neotness features held in check by certain levels of hormones, the same features that females peddle in their youth to get free drinks in the club or to get simp fools to fix their cars for free, these features can alter and become a liability in older age, in the absence of certain mechanisms to hold females' neotness features in check. Females are by far more insistent and obsessed about male appearance than males are. Males will then pick up on female preferences and adopt them as a way to appease their goddesses and thus get a good boy pat on the head for his military LDS missionary look. Females push males to look plain and boring. They have to in order to make their artificial plumage appealing and unique, and to further enforce the fairy tale that they have adopted that they have some default patent on human beauty, some magical bag of gold that males can never and will never possess, by virtue of the fact that males are not female. Humans do all they can to separate male and female everything. The men are from Mars and women are from Venus mentality. And females especially depend upon the inflammation of opposing characteristics used to manipulate the opposition into compliance of utility rendering. Yet in reality, the human sexes are much more malleable, and gender is largely a product of the mind, since we can cause the physiology of one sex to take on the appearance of the other. Females hate to be reminded of this. They have flat out told me so. Males shouldn't be allowed to be pretty. They're guys. And guys rolls off their tongue with disgust and contempt as they say it. Myself, I'm rather a free spirit, and I've taken many aesthetic liberties. If I want to paint my nails, I paint my nails. Yet females on innumerable occasions have done their gynocentric duty and informed me that I should never have long hair because females don't like the competition. What? Competition? Competition for what exactly, princess? Well, it's competition for attention and thus entitlement. Quite simply, attention and thus entitlement is only supposed to flow one direction, from males to females. As such, attention is the first step to manipulation of man-ape utility, which females claim exclusive rights to. Let's take a sidetrack from androgyny for a second and explore another avenue, which is that if females enjoy being female, they have a male to thank for it. You see, females desperately want to believe that they are entirely removed from males or male anything. They seriously postulate that they are entirely exalted and blessed creatures, like they were spawned from fairy dust and goddess kisses. Females want to believe the bogus nursery rhymes and refrains of sugar and spice and everything nice as being what girls are made of, while dog turds and pond scum are what males are made of. Boys are rough and tumble, while girls are sweet and innocent. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, etc. Females like to fancy themselves wholly removed from and elevated above the disgusting, degenerate human male. Females blatantly ignore the glaring truth that both sexes come from the same stuff. The same neutral cells form both sexes' bodies. The same chemicals flow through both sexes' veins, albeit in varying amounts. Even still, our bodies function the same, and until a certain point, the fetus is androgynous, simply a genetic anthropomorphic form. Though many will say all fetuses start out as female until that mutant Y chromosome jumps in and morphs a perfectly good female into a mutant male. The point is, both sexes come from the same sources, the same raw materials. There is no secret special sugar and spice pool from which female carbon is drawn in order to lovingly fashion an XX chromosomed angel incarnate. However, females want to believe that they are completely different and wholly removed, unassociated with anything male, nor their nasty androgens and diseased chromosomes. Thus, it's no surprise that feminism proffers males as mutant females, merely a product of a damage to the female chromosomes. This is what produces males. They are a defective mutation, whereas the truth really is the opposite. All things flow from males. Males remind females that they are not special. In fact, they are less spectacular than males. Males remind females that their appearance, their femininity, which is a powerful commodity they peddle, it is not unique nor special because we can recreate this special femininity on males as if they are blank canvases. Females hate that not only are they not special, their proprietary blend of aesthetic appeal is not exclusive to anatomical females, since we can and have quantified female appearance and recreated it on the very same vulgar demons that females sell their aesthetic femininity to. She-males and males with pretty features, meaning neotenous features that society associates as feminine, females hate these pretty males because they are walking billboards declaring that we have clarified and classified females and recreated their appeal on the poop-throwing pond scum. This is why you observe females so insistent over male appearance, even going so far as to dress males or pick out their clothes. I have heard females generously complain about males with beautiful features, such as eyes or hair, like males should not be allowed to have such aesthetically agreeable features. Just yesterday, I heard a lady talk about the beautiful hair of a 6-year-old boy, concluding that it's not right that a boy have such beautiful hair, like females are the only creatures allowed beauty. Yeah, females actually believe they are the only humans allowed to have beauty. Anytime I have taken any aesthetic liberties, I have always been mocked more predictably by females. Oh, you bet, guys will join in the mocking, especially if females are around. Then, as soon as the wife goes to the bathroom, he'll change his tune and ask, "Hey, what color is that nail polish?" Yeah. So, you see, females need males to continue perceiving themselves as vulgar creatures, boring peacocks, while the hens paint their feathers with artificial colors and solicit attention. Females hate femininity reproduced on males for one underlying reason, because it reveals the sham of gynocentrism, which is that males are actually the genuine article. Males are the real deal. You can't recreate the courage, the genius, the strength of males in females, but you can easily create the feminine mystique and the feminine appearance on males. Thus, males are the more relevant in ability. They are the true trailblazers, and females are the dependents. Females are reminded of their jealousy for male greatness and their dependency and parasitism upon males when they see pretty males. The only thing females have over males is their uterus. That's it. Everything else, including the vagina, is recreatable, not as a perfect carbon copy, but it is recreatable nevertheless on the dirty, despicable sex of rapists and morons. And who knows, maybe uterine transplantation is in the future. Males are great, and females hate men because of this inherent greatness. Oh, but it goes further. As I mentioned earlier, if females love being female, they have a male to thank for it. Males are not mere rotting, mutated females. Males are the point of life. Males are the source from which all creativity, love, and sex flows. You see, it is males that harbor the powerful creation of either sex. The genetic coding of both sexes resides in males. This means males produce both sets of chromosomes. Females are not wholly removed from males, since they owe their existence as females to males. That's right, males produce both sets of chromosomes, the pond scum and the sugar and spice. No surprise here. I have always said males are the creative forces of this universe, and here is a sterling example. The sperm produces both sets of chromosomes, while the female egg only exudes the chromosomal predilection in continuity with that of the host, which is XX. Males produce both sets in various sperm, and whichever sperm gets to the egg first wins sex over the new fetus. Hence, certain positions are said to promulgate one sex over the other. For instance, a shorter distance to the egg proffers an XY sperm, while a longer trip favors the XX sperm. For example, it is proffered that a male child is more likely to result from doggy-style insemination. Now, this may be true, this may be wives' tale. Either way, males produce all and are the determiners of sex. And the moral of the story? Well, males create and act, whereas females rein in male creativity and are acted upon. Males create the recipe, procure and mix the ingredients. Females are simply the beaker, the oven in which the male cake is baked. Now, yes, I may have truncated a complicated process into a few sentences, but one thing is certain. Females owe their female existence and all its superior attributes of feminine beauty to males. It's because of males that chicks have the features that they use to boost their ego and manipulate males with, the attributes they fault males for not having. You owe your exalted boobs and hair to chromosomes made in the male. Females think they are so different and special, yet truth is, females come from guys. Females are female by grace of males, just as females argue life exists by grace of females. Hence, females are female by grace of males. Males make the blueprints for either sex in those disgusting testicles that pop culture loves to make fun of and whack guys in the groin for comedy. Yes, this is a little bit of a departure from the androgyny we started this video with. This is not a chicken or egg argument. Indeed, there is nothing to argue. Males are the creative forces, and males are the vessels through which chromosomes replicate. Females are the vessels through which cells replicate and are sustained until birth. However, in the most basic terms, females are glorious and angelically female because of a male. Moreover, females are pampered, protected, and entitled by males. So really, females owe their very existence to dudes, biologically as well as environmentally. Females really are so hopelessly dependent on males, and they know it. Females hate males because they are jealous of male power, and this envy manifests as misandry and feminism. Furthermore, we see this Y chromosome envy when females rebuke feminine beauty reproduced on males. So, princess, you're not sugar and spice, you're not special, you're not independent or removed from males. You come from males, and you owe your existence to males, both genetically and environmentally. Anyhow, this has been a thought experiment to demonstrate how malleable the human body is, and that secondary gender characteristics are interchangeable between the sexes. Still, I find it very interesting that many reports represent enlightened beings or extraterrestrial advanced beings as being androgynous. And this seems to corroborate thoughts that sameness would eliminate prejudice. However, at the end of the day, since androgyny is not applicable here, where sexual dimorphism and gender appearance standards, behavior, and protocols fuel the animosity between antagonistic members of the same species, and all this leads to the devaluation and disposal of males as beings inherently worth less in the grand scheme of opposites. Hypothetically, androgyny seems to be at least one viable option of spirits or advanced beings to invoke in order to overcome ego driven of differences between equal beings. Androgyny. Interesting, huh? Well, if nothing else, it's a good mental chew toy. We are still confined under the constraints of sexual dimorphism, and under these yokes, gynocentrism reigns supreme. Yet here again, humans invoke irony, because it is males that are the creative forces. It is males that are the point of life, even though society preaches the opposite. It is the peacocks that are beautiful. They are the works of art, not the hens artificially augmenting their person and feathers in response. And thus, revocation of gynocentrism is the only path to male empowerment and liberation from devaluation and disposability. My brothers, recognize your true beauty, your true worth, your true import, and stand with me, live free.